Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac, back live. I'm back from Antarctica. No, really, I was in Antarctica. I'll talk about that after the break, but let's catch up. Nikki Glaser on the Golden Globes. I thought she was fantastic. I really enjoyed her monologue. It was a nice traditional, I called it Johnny Carson style monologue, where you just call out the people in the audience and say something funny about them. Be the equivalent of me going, and Scott Beckett is here. Scott's excited about the Golden Globes because it means I won't play the Joe Coy joke anymore. You know, that kind of harmless banter among friends. I thought she was really, really good. Nikki shared some details with Howard Stern, saying, I got paid pretty. I'm good with that. There was a past host who said how much he got in his monologue, and I got less than that. I'll come back to that, but that's okay. I'll get more next year. I feel well paid for what I do. I'm all right. I like how she's assuming she's hosting next year. That said, it should be a great choice, obviously. The speculation is she's referring to Gerard Carmichael, who hosted in 2023. He disclosed on stage that he was paid $500,000 for his hosting gig. You may recall the Golden Globes had to rebuild. The ceremony was canceled in 2022 after the controversy surrounding the Hollywood Foreign Press Association's lack of diversity. But I think even after last year with you-know-who making the joke about you-know-who, the Golden Globes are back, baby. It's a thing again. I think it's a chair that people will want to host. But Nikki Glaser did great and said if they'll have me back for 2026, I'm all in. The first time, you just want to prove yourself, and I feel like I did that. She sure did. She shared with Howard some jokes cut from the monologue. Some of them, which she obviously would have told better. This is the last time all of you will be in the same room together until the Diddy trial. That is a great joke. She explained they had another Diddy mention that worked better, and you're kind of accusing the people in the room of being involved in that, and they might turn on you. Another joke, I loved Conclave. It's about choosing a new pope. It was heartwarming. It'll touch you so much that the church will have to move to another theater. Hot tip, you don't need ID to get into the Conclave after party. She explained we didn't do that because they were Catholic joke pedophile jokes. We've all heard them. We don't need more of that. A tag to her joke about calling Adrian Brody a two-time Holocaust survivor for his appearance in 2 Holocaust movies, The Pianist and The Brutalist. Dropped from that joke was the tag, if Adrian Brody could go back in time, he would thank baby Hitler for his career. Nikki said, I love that one so much, but my assistant is Gen Z, and she was like, I don't get it. Nikki explained, we're going to lose a whole generation on that joke, and then I've said Hitler for nothing. Another cut joke, Only Murders in the Building is amazing. I think it's so cool that legends like Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Meryl Streep are all in it. It just goes to show you you're never too old to still need money. Why are you working so hard? What's going on? Did you get caught up in the Hawk-Tuah crypto scheme? That's a good joke. Why'd you cut that one? Glenn Powell is nominated tonight for Hitman. Who would have thought you'd only be the second hottest hitman in America? This one probably a good cut. This is the only show where you can see the biggest stars in movies and TV joined together with a common goal, getting out here tonight before Dak Shepard asked them to do his podcast. Another one good cut. The Wild Robot is nominated tonight, and by that I mean Nicole Kidman after 2 White Wines. Glaser interestingly said, I wish we could have done that, but if she makes a face, yeah, you don't want to make a joke about somebody and then they make a face. It could kill your career. Or did it? We'll talk about Joe Coy on the weekend. Michael Keaton was so great in Beetlejuice, and Alec Baldwin sadly did not come back to play a ghost because he was too busy making them. Wow, that's a great joke. Nikki said, please know that I know it wasn't nice. It's such a great joke, but it's just too mean. Another great joke. Here's Ben Affleck. I can't wait to see which Jennifer you try to ruin next. The Hollywood Reporter caught up with the Golden Globes producers. They asked why they thought Nikki was so successful and said, hard work, putting in the work is very important, and we've said it many, many times. It sounds redundant, but she was doing literally 4 or 5 shows a night in L.A. and other cities for 3 weeks to get ready for this, and she tested out a lot of the jokes and knew what worked and what didn't work, and her team went to her and said, oh, that joke will work here, or maybe it's too inside. Only the people in the room will get that. The people at home won't get it, and she honed it down to the ones that work, and that's why she did a great job. And then she hit us with a couple curveballs along the way, but that was fine too. They wound up being funny, like popular. So let me remind everybody, Joe Coy only got the job 9 days before the Golden Globes. They didn't have a host at all. So while we're all killing Joe Coy for being the worst host ever, I mean, he told that terrible joke about you-know-who. I'm not going to go there today. Relax, Scott Beckett. He only had 9 days. Give the guy 4 months. You know, maybe somebody smiles at the joke. Who knows what happens? I still blame her. Bring it, Swifties. The Golden Globes ratings were actually down. Initially, CBS reported that the ratings had jumped 7% from last year's show, claiming 10.1 million viewers. However, Variety later released numbers from Nielsen that showed a dip of 2% in the ratings with 9.3 million viewers. Last year's show, hosted by Joe Coy, was up 51% from when the show aired on NBC in 2023. That year got 6.25 million viewers. Maybe Joe Coy should be the host after all. Catching up because I was in Antarctica. We'll talk about that after the break. Ali Wong, Single Lady, won Best Stand-Up Special of the Year. The other nominees were Jamie Foxx, Nikki, Seth Meyers, Adam Sandler, Rami Youssef. Out of that group, I would have picked Adam Sandler, so that lets you know how bad the picks were. I don't know who made those nominations, but I would have picked none of the above, and if I had to pick Adam Sandler. People are mad at comedian Hannah Brenner for a joke Hannah made during that Netflix end-of-the-year special thing, Torching 2024. I have not seen it yet. I was in Antarctica. Did I mention that? Brenner joked she likes Luigi Mangione, saying, "Luigi's so hot right now, who knew? Besides Travis Kelce, you could become so popular with women by shooting loads into a billionaire." That's a naughty joke there. One fan wrote, "Not to be too woke, but that was wildly inappropriate." Relax, everybody. It's a joke. Kevin Nealon is getting a show on Fox Nation. His self-produced talk show, Hiking with Kevin, will go to Fox News streaming thing. Hiking with Kevin sees Kevin Nealon joined by high-profile celebrity guests, including Nikki Glaser, Conan O'Brien, Rob Lowe, David Spade, Martin Short, and others as they hike through the canyons of L.A., Malibu, Utah, and elsewhere. Let me jump in here. I'm well aware of the fires. I hope everyone is okay. I don't want to just flippantly make a reference about hiking through the canyons of L.A. It is horrific what is happening out there. I hope everyone is safe. Clearly, Nealon recorded this in the past. He said, "When I hike with these people, they are really forthcoming. You're outside. You don't have an audience in front of you. You don't have these bright lights, and you're hiking. You become more casual and open, and you have your endorphins going." Fox Nation has made 10 episodes of Hiking with Kevin available on Fox Nation. Hulk Hogan was booed in Los Angeles at WWE on Monday night. They were making their debut on Netflix. Gabriel Iglesias weighed in, saying it was a painful experience. But he thinks the WWE should have known better, given that the show was in L.A. and Hulk Hogan was a major Donald Trump presidential campaign supporter. Gabe said, "That was painful watching Hulk Hogan get booed." I'm like, yeah, wow, from great to hate. That was ugly. But I mean, at the same time, they should have known better. You know that Hulk Hogan's been out there on this political train trying to sell his beer and trying to be on the Trump train. So you take somebody like that and you put them in a blue state in L.A. What else is going to happen? That might be the reaction. Hulk Hogan is out hawking real American beer. Now an official partner of WWE. I have not yet seen Gabe's new special, I'm Catching Up on Life. Did I mention I was in Antarctica? We'll talk about that after the break. The Hollywood Reporter did a big profile of Gabe. For this special, he said, "I wanted to let everybody know, hey, I've been around for a very long time, and I've seen a lot of things happen and a lot of entertainers come and go. And if I'm still here after all these years, I shouldn't have to deal with any of these issues that are amongst us right now about what you can and can't say. I've always felt like as if I'm coming from a good place, it should be okay. I'm trying to be diplomatic and cool about things, but also be like, come on, guys, I'm still going to be here after this, so let's just stop it already." In the special, he jokes about things like pronouns and says, "I'm leaning into it, but I'm not making it an agenda to go out and just attack. I never attack, I react. So it's me sharing stories about going through certain experiences and how I reacted to them versus, hey, I want to talk about politics." The Hollywood Reporter was curious about, what do you mean you've seen a lot of comics come and go? Is there a through line as to why many don't make it? And Gabe said, "I think it's pacing. There are a lot of entertainers out there that got the one thing that hits, and next thing you know, Gangnam Style, man, and then you're gone." I want to comment on that as somebody who's been comedy industry adjacent for 2+ decades now. The people who last are what I call the brick wall comedians. The guys that tell jokes. The shooting stars are the gimmick comedians, and I can go all the way back to somebody like Dice. The stylized comedians, you know, like Jim Gaffigan is standing in front of a brick wall telling jokes. Jim's going to be around another 30 years. Then you'll have other comedians, and I want to be positive today. I'm not going to pick on anybody, but like Dice had an act, and the act comedians tend to be shooting stars. So that's what it means by Gangnam Style. Gabe said, "It's like, whoa, you were on top of the world a minute ago. Where'd you go?" Being nice goes a long way. I think a lot of times people forget that, and they start being jerky faces to people. That eliminates people quickly. And then being consistent. With me, all the specials are branded. Everything is fluffy something. You want to keep reminding people that that's the brand. Sometimes people will say, well, that's pretty excessive. And I go, no, because all it takes is 1 or 2 years for them to start forgetting you. You have to constantly remind them and continue to put out what you've been putting out. I can't just be doing a show that's fun and friendly, and then all of a sudden you go into this political rant about who you should vote for, because now you're turning people off. The Hollywood Reporter was like, "You've refined this fluffy persona over the years. How's he different from the real you?" Gabe said, "The guy on stage is just louder and talks more." So yeah, I went to Antarctica over the break. My daughter and I went, flipping over all the cards here. The last 16 episodes of this podcast were pre-taped. Now, it was the holidays, so it's a good time of year to be away. I can't imagine another scenario where I would hand in 2.5 weeks of pre-taped shows, because usually when I travel, I bring the laptop with me and just do the show from wherever I am. I'm pretty open with you guys that I'll pre-tape a weekend or sometimes, wrap a weekend with a Monday pre-tape. But for the most part, I do the show, quote unquote, live. But yeah, it was a lot of work coming up with stuff for 16 days of pre-tapes. Thank you, Mike Chisholm, for letting me rerun the interview on New Year's Day. So that saved one. End of the year countdowns came in pretty handy. In terms of the show, I won't pre-tape the weekend. I'll give you quote-unquote live shows through this weekend just to catch up. I'm not going to go back and do every story that I missed. It's daily comedy news, not daily comedy story John didn't get to 2 weeks ago, say John Mulaney on Broadway. We'll just let the past be. I do need to catch up on my specials. I didn't see Nate's. I haven't seen Gabe. I didn't see the end of the year thing. I didn't see Michelle Bateau and whatever else came out, but we'll catch up here. Anyway, it is good to be back in the basement studio recording the podcast, but Antarctica, man, people are asking about it. A typical day would be breakfast. You put on all your cold gear. You get in on a Zodiac boat, which is like a big raft boat with a motorized engine. Head over to the land, walk around, stare at penguins and seals, come back, change out of your wet clothes, go eat lunch, go back to the room, put your wet clothes back on, back to land again, do that again for another 2-3 hours, come back for dinner, pass out because you're exhausted, repeat. It was amazing. It does take a minute to get there. On my way down from leaving my home to JFK Airport to actually checking into the hotel room was a 31-hour trip. So if you say to me right now, hey, you want to fly to Sydney? And I'm like, all I have to do is get on a plane in Los Angeles and watch movies for 16 hours. No problem. I'll go. You may have heard of the Drake Passage and the Drake Shake. That is no joke. I was fine. My poor daughter spent 2 days in bed twice. It's 2 days at sea before you get to Antarctica. And if you don't like rocking boats, don't go. But if you're an adventurer, I highly recommend you go. I did an expedition cruise. So this wasn't a big Disney cruise. This was 100 passengers and 40 crew on a boat, probably maybe smaller than the Staten Island Ferry for New Yorkers, but definitely not a giant cruise ship. And it rocked, but I had an awesome time. When I get some time, I'm going to make a podcast out of it, and I will share that with you when we get a little closer. All right, back to comedy. SNL is turning 50. Did you know that? We should talk about that at some point. Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, and Andy Samberg are in a promo for Peacock's SNL 50 Beyond Saturday Night, which will celebrate the show's 50th anniversary. Also appearing in the special, Dana Carvey, Tracy Morgan, Amy Poehler, and Jimmy Fallon. In the trailer, Mac Packer Andy Samberg says, my first audition, I threw up. One of the 4 episodes centers on the More Cowbell sketch, one of the all-timers. Another episode focuses on the problematic season 11 that came close to getting the show canceled. Jimmy Fallon says, this is beyond my wildest dreams that you're making a documentary about the cowbell sketch. Some other specials coming out January 27th, NBC's Ladies and Gentlemen, 50 Years of SNL Music, and a live primetime special will be on NBC and Peacock February 16th. Also, we have to monetize everything, so live from Saks Fifth Avenue is some limited edition SNL-inspired merchandise. Fans of the show can visit a dedicated landing page on the Saks website, which features the items available to shop. Should we do this? We should do this. I've been away for 2.5 weeks. We can go long today. All right, it took a couple clips, but I found it, and I don't get it. If you really want, you can get a favorite daughter baseball cap. That'll run you $48. You can get a favorite daughter SNL Sport and Spirit cotton tote bag. That'll run you $50. You want favorite daughter SNL Auto 5-pocket jeans? Those are only $248. And a tote bag that says favorite daughter SNL Live from New York. That one's $50. If you're looking for a More Cowbell t-shirt, that might actually be fun. Nope. The president and chief commercial officer of Saks says, we're excited to partner with Saturday Night Live, bringing together 2 iconic brands that have shaped culture and delighted our respective audiences for decades. This is being spun as saying Saks and SNL have a long-standing relationship. You see, their flagship store is across from NBC's 30 Rockefeller Plaza headquarters. Yep, okay, the trailer is out for Amy Schumer's new Netflix comedy feature, Kinda Pregnant. In Kinda Pregnant, Amy Schumer plays Lainey, who wears a fake baby bump while feeling jealous of her best friend's pregnancy and ends up meeting a perfect guy. In the trailer, Amy asks, did you ever feel like such a big lie you don't know how to get out of it? Some of the comments on YouTube include, this trailer makes me want to sit on my TV and watch my couch. Is it too late to replace Amy Schumer with another actress? And it seems like Netflix took a look at what Taylor Sheridan has been doing by appealing to regular Americans who just want a fun time and said, yeah, let's do the exact opposite of that. And that is your comedy news for today. I missed you guys. Appreciate you. Join us in the Facebook group. It's Daily Comedy News Podcast Group, and I'll see you tomorrow.